that you just...
Wow, it's a very pleasant surprise. I was not expecting that, but he's been known to do that, so I'm not totally surprised. He's good for doing that to me. This is actually his first year here. But I just want to thank my sister Nicole and for Pastor Johnson. It's good to be here because usually I'm sitting where you are, so this is very different being up here. So like my sister said, I want to talk to you about, for anyone who is looking to start a business or if you're already in business, some things that can really, really help you. Okay, so she already asked the question that I was going to ask as far as how many of you do that. But you know, you're in good company if you are a business owner because there are 11 million female-owned businesses right now in the world. Okay? The rate of female entrepreneurship is now 5 times the national average. And one thing I'm really proud of is that 44% of these businesses are run by women of color. Okay? Absolutely. Black women make up the largest group of entrepreneurs, and so we are definitely taking charge of our lives. So why are we doing this? Why are we all starting these businesses? The most common reason is the work-life balance. You want to have control over your time. You want to build a business around your life. And you don't want to have someone else telling you where to go and what to do and how to do it. And you also want control of your earning potential. You want to make more money, you know, and you don't want someone telling you what you're worth, especially when you know you're worth much more than what they're paying you.
That's right. Amen.
Family, you have a baby, you have a sick parent, maybe you just want to be more present for your kids. I mean, I have 3 little boys. I love being available to be there for them at their school. And so that's one of my reasons. And then, of course, it's job related. You know, I mean, how many of you would go to work if they said, well, we're not going to pay you, but we want you to come anyway? You know, right? You don't like your job. You're doing it for just the money, but there's politics, there's poor management, there's a hostile work environment, low advancement, and you want to do so much more with your life, right? That's why, you know, just going over the last 15 years of being in corporate, one thing that came to me is the best job you ever have is the one that you create. Because you have that control over what you do. And that's really why I chose sales. I'm a sales coach. And so what I do is I help women position themselves to sell themselves better, promote themselves, and market themselves. And I knew back in business school, being an introvert, quiet and shy, that kind of thing, I knew that I had to work on that because I couldn't do something like this if I wasn't comfortable with myself and confident. I knew that I had to step out. So I jumped right into the fire by going to apply for a sales position. The one thing I feared the most is having to go and sell every single day. And one thing it taught me was, you know, it's possible. Regardless of how shy you are or how introverted you are, you can do it. You know, I was able to take that position, be number 1, actually number 1 2 years in a row, sell over $80 million in product. Just from doing what God sent me there to do. And also be able to manage people. I managed a staff of over 200 people. God has really blessed me. So by taking that step, He really showed me that you can do it. So when it comes to sales in your business, basically what can sales do for you besides the obvious? We all want to make money, right? But it also helps you build confidence. You want to be more confident as you grow. As more people come to you, and I'm sure our vendors can definitely attest to this, as more people come to your business and they want you and they want you to help them, that will help you be more confident in your abilities. But it also helps you make bigger investments. Let's say you want to go hire a coach or someone that you always admired. Let's say you want to attend a conference in Palm Springs or South Beach, do something like that. Or let's say you want to just improve yourself. You know, you want to get certified or something like that. That's what sales can do for you because it gives you the money. And one thing I can definitely say is that it gives you the power to outsource, hire people to help you. Because when you're starting out, you're doing it all yourself. You have no help, and you have no money in the beginning. But as you get money, you can hire people to do the things that you hate to do. Someone can write your content, someone can do your website, and then you have more time to use that gift that God gave you, and you can build that muscle, okay? So how do you do this? How do you get more sales? Your sales pitch and your marketing should all answer 4 questions. Number 1, who are you? What is your story? You heard stories from Lady Nicole and from our first speaker about what they went through. That's the relatability factor. There are other women who've been through the same exact thing, and they want to hear from you. What sets you apart from the crowd? What makes you different? There are millions of people doing the same thing, but the difference is people buy from who they like. They like you first, and then they like your product. So it's all about you telling them about your story. Then you want to ask, what makes you qualified? How are you qualified to do what you're doing? Is it your personal experience, your professional experience, your education, things you've done in the past? All of that plays into this. Also, why should I buy now? Are you giving them a sense of urgency to want to buy from you now? Are you giving them some kind of bonus? Some type of end of the month program where if you buy now, you get $100 off? You want people to take action right now. And the last, I think most important, is what's in it for me. They want to know at the end of the day, what are you going to do for me? Sell the benefits. Don't just talk about features. Like for instance, if you're a weight loss coach, you can say, yeah, I'll help you lose 100 pounds and you'll lose weight. But what they really want is confidence. They want to walk down the street and feel good about themselves. They want to go into the holidays and have self-control. They want to feel good. That's the part that you sell. That's what's in it for them. Okay, so keep those 4 questions in mind when you're putting your sales and your marketing campaigns together. But you also want to build relationships. You know, a lot of the best relationships that you can have are ones where customers not only come back to you, but they go and tell their friends about you, about how well you serve them, how well you're there for them, and how you anticipate their needs and you always have something for them. And that's really going to help you really build and grow a long-term business. And this is something I really is very important to know, is having a strong brand. What do you think a brand is? Just anyone. When you think of the word brand, what comes to mind?
Unique. Something unique.
Right. Well,
It's who you are.
who you are? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And you may say also logos or websites, but really your brand is how you make people feel. How do they feel when they're buying from you? How do they feel when they go to your website? Is it easy to navigate? Are they able to find what they need? When they come into your store or they come to your shop, when they talk to you, how do you make them feel? You make them feel important? Do they feel special? Or are they just like another number? That's your brand. Also, are you professional or are you late all the time? Are you competent or are you like a deer in the headlights when they ask you a question? Can they trust you or are you making excuses for missed deadlines? That's your brand. So you want to protect that and make sure that is always top notch. So when it comes down to women, one thing I've noticed from the women that come to me and just when I was in sales, why are we struggling with sales when it comes to that? Why are we looking at it as such a hard thing? And what I see first thing as a business owner is a lack of clarity of knowing who do you really want to serve? Who is the ideal person for your business? Because a lot of times we're just prone to spray it out everywhere. You're on every social media platform, you're everywhere, and you don't really have a targeted marketing strategy. You're just trying to serve any and everybody with a post. And it doesn't work that way all the time. You really have to have an ideal person that really is going to benefit from your business. And the beautiful thing is that it's your business. You can work with whoever you want. You don't have that control at work. If you have a coworker that gets on your nerves, you have to deal with that person. But when it's your business, you decide who you want to work with. So it's important that you know what makes them tick. What are their demographics? Where they live? Are they married? Are they single? You want to have an idea of this person in your head. You want to know how they buy. What are they really struggling with? Where are they laying in bed at night, 2 a.m. in the morning, wondering? What problem can you solve for them? But you also want to know their dreams. Where do they want to be in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year from now? And how can you help them get there? So you want to speak to the struggle, but you also want to speak to their dreams. And what you want to do is, if you have current offerings, you want to make sure that you are tweaking them to adjust it once you get this information. And when you're creating your offerings, you want to make sure you keep this first and foremost in your mind, because that's really what lets them know that you are the person for them. Another thing I see a lot, and I struggle with, is lack of consistency. Visibility. How often are you posting? How often are you marketing, advertising yourself? Your messaging, your brand. All those things, if there's an inconsistent stream, people aren't going to trust you. They're going to think, oh, she's not really serious. You start off strong and then you stop when you don't see results, right? No one's calling me, the phone's not ringing, so I'm just going to quit. The honestly thing is that it takes time to get results. 30 days, 60 days of being consistent, getting people used to seeing you. It takes 7 to 10 touches before someone makes a buying decision. So if you quit at 3, you've already missed your chance. Also, you're not getting the engagement. If you're online and you don't see people commenting and liking, you're not getting that, you feel, okay, well, this isn't working, I'm going to quit. The reality of it is that comments and likes, they don't pay the bills.
That's right.
People who come to you do. And I can tell you personally that my clients have not seldom liked or commented on my posts until after we started working together. The people who are serious don't have time to do that. The people who are typically liking and commenting are people that you know, your family, your friends, and other business owners that you've met. They're not the ones who are really doing that. So I don't look for those things to tell you whether or not you're being successful. And one thing that's really huge in sales is the fear of no. No one likes to hear no. I hate it. My husband, I didn't know he was here, but I was going to use him as an example because he knows that I hate to hear no. I like to hear yes to everything. But honestly, in business, it's not the worst thing that you can hear. Honestly, a no can really help you. So it's important that you not take it personal when someone says no. What you want to do is look beyond the no and find out what does it really mean. Is it maybe just not yet? They can't invest in you just today? Or maybe it's a lifestyle thing. Maybe they're about to buy a house or a baby, but they want to keep you in the back of their mind. So don't just look at that no and say, oh, well, I saw my business sucks. No, it just means that that person may not be there. Or they may need more information. So just ask probing questions. Just ask, okay, well, what other questions can I ask for you? But don't get defensive. Just make sure that you're, asking them the questions. And follow up. Ask, well, okay, can I follow up with you in another month or so? Because situations do change. So don't hear that no or that objection and just think, oh gosh, that's it. It's all over. And this one for me is very personal because if you're introverted when it comes to sales, this is really going to be a big thing. And even if you're an extrovert, you're an outgoing person, when it comes to asking for that sale, that money, oh my gosh, I've seen people just say, okay, I can get up and speak to anybody, I can do anything. But when it comes to that sales portion, that I just want to just crawl into a hole. Well, I tell women who are like that, introverts are actually one of the best salespeople. So if that introverted part of you comes out, you can tap into those strengths. And a lot of those strengths are being an active listener. You hear what's not being said. And that's when someone comes back, salespeople come to my house, they hate it because when they give me their sales pitches, I hear everything they're not saying. And I ask them questions based on that. And they're like, okay, who are you? And, because I hear the underlying, I'm hearing basically, so you can't do this, and you don't do that. And those are where I typically go. Also, we're good at building long-term one-on-one relationships, and you want that to have a long-term business. You want to be able to have that relationship with your clients so that they can come back to you, and you can always have that. But we're also very analytical. With me, before I give a suggestion, I throw out 3 or 4 scenarios in my head before I offer it. And so that's why I'm not one that can give you a quick, fast one, but I know for a fact that when I do give it to you, it's well thought out. Okay. So now I want to talk about some tips for long-term growth. And this is something that I know as Christians, as believers, we all can definitely benefit from this. And that is just having daily time with the Lord and developing your mindset. Because it's something that we typically skip. When our businesses grow, we get successful, we're like, oh, I don't have to do that no more. And then you get to a point where you up-level your business and new problems come and new issues come and you're like, uh-oh. And it can really stop you if you don't have that daily time with God. When I first started out as a business owner, I was always comparing myself to other people online. This one's so much better than me. She's doing so much well. How can I do this? I priced myself really low beginning. And then my first client, this is something I always tell people, my first client told me about 6 weeks into the program, she said, you know what? I thought you were actually going to cost more. And I was going to pay you more. And I was like, really? And so she said, yeah, I was going to pay you. And she said, I thought you just cost a lot more than you did. But because the devil was telling me, nobody's going to pay you that, I believed it. and I lost out on money. So it's very important that you not listen to that and you have a daily exercise in affirming yourself. So there's 5 areas where the enemy's going to attack you when you start your business. It's going to be your mindset, your insecurities, your fears, your failures, your shaky past. He knows all those things. He's going to bring it up. And he's going to send people your way talking about, remember when you did this and remember that? Because they see that you're rising. They see that you're doing something for yourself. And they're going to come in at that right time and trigger you to stop you. So you have to have that defense. You have to also affirm your greatness every single day. In my office, I have Post-its, I have whiteboards with scriptures and just affirmations to help me just stay confident. I do affirmations, I do journal, I meditate. And you have to do that. You have to meditate on what God says about you. Because the devil and everybody else is going to tell you everything else. But you have to reaffirm what he says. And also, as we talked about before, is surrounding yourself with other Christian business owners. Be around women who are believers like you. Because one thing I've noticed in the online world, a lot of people give praise and honor to the universe. They're witches and they're psychics and they praise the angels and they praise everything but God. And they'll have you thinking that the only way you can grow your business is if you honor this universe. And some call him Source. Millionaires. I'm like, he gave you $1 million business and you call him Source. Many of them won't even say his name. So you need to be able to surround yourself with fellow believers who can help you and pray with you and encourage you, and you do the same for them. But also one big thing is standing by your price and not letting people come to you and want to hook up and want you to, give me a friend discount and stuff like that. Because that's a big thing. When people, charge your price, yes, it's very, trust me. You get those messages on Facebook, can I pick your brain? Can we? No. You send them your PayPal link and then tell them to schedule a time and then y'all can talk. And it's business. And it's not because you're a Christian that you should just give everything away. No. Because, yes, people will use that against you. Well, you're a Christian. How can you charge me? Well, because we had the Proverbs 31 woman. We had Lydia. There are business women in the Bible, so refer them to those scriptures if they want to know that. Okay? But also, you want to practice saying your price out loud. If you're not comfortable with your price, if you raised your price recently, practice it out loud. Because, when you're stuttering and quivering, when you're saying that number, people aren't going to want to pay you. You want to be confident. This is what I charge, and this is what it's going to cost you to get help from me. And also role play. This is something that I do with clients. I role play, not ask those hard questions, those hard objections, and they're like, gosh. But, you have to be ready, though, because your potential clients are going to ask you those questions, and you need to be ready to answer those, okay? And in reality, it all comes down to you're training people how to treat you. If you give it away, they're not going to pay you. You got to train people, family, friends, everybody. And I'm just a quick story about someone who I helped, and my heartstrings were pulled. I don't have anything, I don't have any money, and can you help me? And so I did. This was early on. And as soon as she got some money, guess what she did? She went on the paid coach who said, here's my price. And she gave that money to the other coach, who I know didn't tell her anything more than what I told her. And that was a lesson for me that I should have charged from the very beginning and set my boundaries. Okay? So yes, you must do that. Also, be prepared to make investments. So just like you don't give hookups, don't ask for them. You have to make investments in your business. You definitely want to know that, there's benefits to having. I have a virtual assistant, and just the idea of knowing that someone else is helping me and working with me, it is a joy. Because in the beginning, you're wearing so many hats, and you can't even breathe. And so I can't tell you enough about outsourcing and being able to have people who are experts at their gift work with you while you work on the gift that God gave you. While you read and while you go to courses and get certified, someone else is working in their gift to help you build your dream. Okay, so I definitely encourage you to just be prepared to make investments if you really want to grow in your business. And you want to be professional. That goes back to your brand. You want to make sure that you have a professional brand. Because just like you honor God when you show up to work on time and you do your job, you want to honor God with your business. Okay, so the sign out the door says 8 o'clock, don't show up at 10 o'clock. Honor him. Because the words, and we're going to go over a scripture real quick about what he says about how you honor him and what you do. But you also want to under-promise and over-deliver. You want people to be caught off guard by how well you serve them. So they come back and they will go out and tell other people about how well you help them. And also just have systems in place that are very simple and easy to bring people onto your business so that you're not going through a long, complicated cycle to work with you. So I'm going to leave you with 5 scriptures that are going to help you, and they're all in your handouts. And the first one is my personal favorite, and that is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. And that's when you have those moments where you're just insecure, the anxiety's high, and the fears. Maybe you're stepping out and doing something you've never done before. This is a great scripture to meditate on. The next one is each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. When you doubt the gift that God has given you, and you need encouragement to walk in that gift and not waver, this is a great scripture for that. The next one is, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come to me and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me, you will find me with all your hearts. This is to simply trust God, because like I said before, results take time. Don't be discouraged. Things are not always going to look and feel as they do. He has a plan, and he's going to do that, but you just have to stay in it. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This is just to help you for the things that are going to happen in the rough patches. But I'm talking particularly about haters and critics, people who were there in the beginning and then they see you doing well and all of a sudden you don't hear from them anymore. They're talking about you, they're spreading things. I see people spread stuff about each other online and hating each other, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And it's days where you just don't feel like it anymore, because every day is not going to be like what you see on TV. Every day is going to be where you have to motivate yourself and stay energized. So these are great things. Also, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. And that goes back to your brand. You're working for him. You work as if God came to you and said, I want you to help me with whatever. How would you serve God if he was your customer or your client? Well, that's how you serve your customer, your fellow man or woman. You serve them as you're honoring God so that he is glorified in what you do. Okay? So thank you so much for your time. That's what I had for you. I appreciate it. And thank you for Nicole and Pastor Johnson for having me.